I realize that the mind can absorb only what the rear can endure, so I will be brief. More so because I'm hungry, okay? But we will not keep you long, but I do have a few thoughts since I've come, 1,500 miles to get here. I do want to share a couple of thoughts with you guys. First, for the ones that don't know me, I am Presley Swagerty. I'm a high school basketball coach by trade. I coached at Lakeview High School in Garland, Texas for 16 years. I loved it, did it with a passion, felt like I helped some kids, never made much money. I finally decided the Mavericks, Lakers, or Sixers just weren't calling me. A friend of mine called and said, hey, I got something I want you to look at. I went and looked at the Ignite business presentation. Only it wasn't on screens and computers and PowerPoints and all that stuff. It was a big old tablet on a wobbly tripod, and the guy had a marker. And if you can imagine trying to put all the information you guys just saw on a big old piece of paper, I couldn't tell up from down when he finished scratching on that thing, but I just had a couple of thoughts. I kept thinking, everybody I know needs electricity. Everybody I know wants to make some more money. I think this might work. I mean, that was my thought process, guys. I didn't have any, big epiphanies or illusions of grandeur or nothing like that. I just kept going, this might work. So I decided to give it a shot. I got in with the goal of making $1,000 a month. I thought, boy, if I can make $1,000 a month, I can pay some credit card bills down. So I jumped in, and, the work is just simply talking to people. People all the time say, how many hours you work and all that. I don't really know because I just do this business as I go. I just live my normal life, and as I bump into people, I go, hey, I got something I want to talk to you about. I mean, that's how I work my business, just live life, But I had that goal. I wanted to make $1,000 a month. So I started talking to people. Got a bunch of no's, but got a few yeses. All of a sudden, a few yeses got into a few more yeses, and it got to going. Took about 6 months, but Jeannie and I, that's my wife, we go out to the mailbox, pull an envelope out, rip it open, yank that check out. I have never been as excited to see a comma in my entire life than to have a residual check with my name on it and a comma in it. I was pumped up. But I used to go to church with a man named Zig Ziglar, and Zig would always say, go as far as you can see, and when you get there, you're going to be able to see a little further. Well, when we got it to $1,000 a month, Zig was telling the truth. I could see $3,000 a month. We got it to $3,000 a month, and then I could see $5,000. Jeannie and I, guys, in the last 7.5, 8 years in this business, have made around $20 million doing this thing. Woo! I don't sit there and say that, no, don't clap when you get your own 20, you can clap. I don't say that bragging by any stretch of the imagination. I grew up dirt poor with no dad. My mom worked in a sewing factory, and I taught school for 16 years. I've got no qualifications to have made that kind of money. I'm just telling you, because of this compensation plan and this company, guys, us common folks have a chance to make a lot of money if we'll get our rear out there and talk to people. But you're going to have to do a lot of talking, and you got to have thick skin because you'll get more no's than you do yeses. But those yeses can literally make you wealthy if you will just keep going, guys. But that's enough about me. That's kind of my story. I'm going to talk about 4 P's tonight, okay? I'm going to talk about plan, prepare, produce, provide. And you say, well, those don't sound much about Ignite. Well, I talk more about life than I do Ignite because I think if you can be successful in one area, you can be successful in any areas. And my 4 P's will apply to anything that you want to do in your life, guys. But obviously, I'm going to tailor it towards the Ignite business. First P is plan. Do you have a plan? And this is a great time to have a plan because it's the first part of the year. In other words, have you written your goals down for what you want to accomplish in 2014? I'm going to tell you right now, guys, I have my goals on my little pad on this phone, and I'm not a techie kind of guy, huh? But I wrote them down, and then I put them on my phone, and I write them down every day so I can remember what my goals are so it'll motivate me. Guys, here's a scary thing. Less than 10% of Americans have written down goals. Less than 10% of Americans. Would we get in a car and head out on a trip and not know where we're going? No. Would we get a gun and just start shooting without a target? No, chances are no. But you know what? We will live our life and not have a flipping clue where we want to end up. We just kind of live through it, and about 20 years in, we start going, well, I hope this ends up okay, you know. I hope I can retire in a little while. I hope I can get some money in the bank. I kind of hope it all works out. Guys, I'm going to tell you what, I figured this out after being about 45 years old and being dead broke. Hope isn't a very good strategy. Crossing your fingers is not a very good strategy. Before you go to bed tonight, guys, you need to write down some goals that you want to accomplish this year, so we have an idea of what we're trying to do with our lives. Because if we don't, guys, we just kind of let the wind blow us around, and again, we're just kind of hoping we land in a good spot. We need our plan, guys. We've got to write that thing down. Here's a scary thing to me as I travel the country. I figured this out a long time ago. People will spend more time planning a 2-week vacation than they will planning their life. Amen or amen? Guys, we've got to have a plan. Write it down. See, we've got a vehicle that can accomplish those goals for us. We got a vehicle that can get those financial ones, and if you get the financial ones, it helps with the others. Now, I could spend a few hours going over goal setting and doing all that stuff, but I don't have that time now. But let's just kind of cut that short. But let's say this. Before you go to bed tonight, you get you a piece of paper, and you write down some things that you want to accomplish this year with your life, guys. Because if you'll do that, amazing things will happen. See, our mind, our subconscious, when they see that on paper, our subconscious will start trying to figure out ways to get that accomplished, whether you know it or not.